Let's talk about your candidacy for mayor of Caloocan. You have filed your COC, but you also said you know that it's going to be an uphill climb because you're going against the incumbent. Talk us through what you think your chances are.
Based on our consultations around Caloocan, I think we have better than good chances of dismantling this corrupt political dynasty who has been in power in Caloocan for 12 years now.
Okay, Senator Trillanes, actually, both my parents are from Caloocan and they still hold offices there. Yes. So I spent quite a lot of time there. As far as I can recall, no, Panay, same names. It's the usual dynasties, they kind of just revolve. Diba? Paulit-ulit, nag-ikot-ikot lang sila. What do you think you can bring to the table?
Ang plano po natin i-implement sa Caloocan, ganun po, no? It may sound general for our viewers, pero it starts po with eradicating corruption. Pagka tinanggal po namin yung corruption sa City Hall ng Caloocan, we would free up at least 2 billion pesos. At itong 2 billion pesos na to annually na nakukurakot, ay marami pong mapopondohan ng mga social programs po yan across different sectors.
Okay, to be fair though, Senator Trillanes, napakadami na rin po nagbago sa Caloocan, no? In the past, I guess, 40 years, I should say, since I've been alive. Where do you plan to take this? Because before, kasi panay ano yan opisina, di ba? Panay mga warehouse, napakadami pong negosyo. What's a plan for businesses, to be able to support you fully?
Okay. Ito po, no? Contrary to the impression na sinasabing maraming nangyari, of course, from, let's say, back in the 80s, talagang kaunti lang naman yung population. But relative to the different cities, talagang pinaka-backward ang Caloocan dito sa Metro Manila. Doon po ang may pinakamaraming mahihirap po sa mga depressed areas. So we plan to change that. Ngayon yung sinasabi ko, it starts with eradicating corruption. Yan po, pagka nalaman po ng mga negosyo that iba na ang sitwasyon sa larangan ng governance, ma-attract po sila. But we will do more than that. We will be waiving off yung mga permits and real property taxes and other business taxes for new businesses who would set up Caloocan. So yan po, no? It will attract businesses papunta sa Caloocan. Then it will therefore generate jobs for the people of Caloocan. Ganon din po dun sa mga loyal businesses who have stuck it out sa Caloocan despite the bad governance there. Meron po tayo, i-reduce po natin yung business taxes and permit. Then, yung mga residente, babawasan po namin yung real property taxes kasi ginawa po ang nakaupo ngayon, in-increase nila to almost 300% ang real property taxes sa Caloocan. Lalo ngayon na choke at hindi umiikot yung pera sa Caloocan, yung imbis na sa kabuhayan nila o sa pag-aaral yung napupunta, pinukuha ng City Hall, then binubulsa naman. No? So mabawasan natin yan. We will make life a bit easier sa mga homeowners doon. No? Pero marami pa pong problema na basic. Yung criminality, problema yan, poverty. So ito na nga, yung by generating employment, we should be able to solve the poverty situation in Caloocan and therefore mababawasan na rin yung mga crimes of poverty or crimes related to poverty. So marami po yung basura, yung mga sira-sira infrastructure. We will be dealing with all of those moving the rest of the city to the road to progress.
Senator, you've been, in a national seat for 12 years, 2007 to 2019. As a senator, this is your first time joining the local elections. What is curious to me is why you chose Aksyon Demokratiko as your party. What brings you in alignment with Mocha Uson, with Isko Moreno, when before kayo po ay naging kritikal kay Mayor Isko noong binatikos niya si Vice President Leni Robredo, sinabi niyo na pinapakita niya yung tunay niyang sarili. At meron po kayong kaso laban kay Mocha Uson noong ASEC pa siya ng Presidential Comms when yung parang meron nga pong fake news daw doon sa inyong offshore accounts. So what brings you in alignment with Aksyon Demokratiko, and does this mean that you are not with Liberal Party anymore? What made you decide that?
Okay, ganito po, no? Yung local political machinery namin, yung mga konsehal ko sa different slate, miyembro sila na Aksyon Demokratiko. Ako po ay miyembro po ng Nationalista Party. Ngayon, yung makakalabang ko, yung pamilya na yun, ay miyembro yun ng Nationalista Party, so I cannot bring them to Nationalista Party. So, para mas convenient sa lahat, sa Aksyon Demokratiko, ako na lang ho ang lilipat. Now, to the question na bakit doon, remember when I criticized Mayor Isko Moreno noong 2022, it's within the context ng sino yung pinakang magaling na kandidato for president at that time. And in my group, we chose Leni Robredo. So kaya doon kami nag-align. And pero as far as local governance is concerned, marami naman kong mga ginawang maganda. At sabi ko nga, Mayor Isko Moreno is basically at par as with Mayor Vico Soto in terms of local governance. So marami po ako matututunan sa kanila. Itong Aksyon Demokratiko, meron po silang programa na hindi sila, nakatutok lang sila sa local candidacies, ng mga pinifil nila. So, mas matutulungan na Aksyon Demokratiko yung buong slate po namin sa Caloocan. Now, as to Ms. Mocha Uson, she joined Aksyon Demokratiko after me. So, hindi naman ako may control kung sino po ang sasali dyan sa partido niya. Hindi. And besides, councilor po ng Manila yung sasamahan niya. So, dito po kami. So, meron po kaming autonomy within our candidates in Caloocan. So, ako po ang may control.
Tuloy pa rin po yung kaso laban kay Ms. Mocha Uson. Sabi nyo, sinabihan po ata kayo ng gwapo kayo sa personal. Ano naman po tayo, hindi naman po tayo ganun karupok, no? So, tuloy pa rin po yung kaso.
Senator, let me just pick on something you said. So your plan is to cut taxes across the board.
Yes.
It's a bit of a populist move, and of course, everyone will be happy with it because who wants to pay taxes, right? And it brings in the votes. But of course, on the other side of it, you will have less money. If you win the seat, you will have less money to run City Hall. What's going to be the plan there?
Ganito po, no? It's not a populist move. It's not a populist move because the votes are coming from the depressed area and the poorer community. But the businesses, they would expand by encouraging them, by making Caloocan City business-friendly. They would try to set up businesses here which would generate jobs. And pag naka-set up na sila dun sa Caloocan, it will increase or expand the revenue base of Caloocan, thereby increasing the revenue of Caloocan in the medium term. So, kumbaga, mas maganda yon na mag-inganyo at magpa-asenso ng Caloocan. So, yung additional revenue na yun, which would now be used to fund yung social programs ng Caloocan. Kasi yung mindset kasi ng mga corrupt normally, they will increase yung taxes kasi parang ano na yun pera na nilang kukuhanin. But ang nangyari doon, they choke the businesses out of the city. So lumaalis sila, nababawasan ngayon yung mga trabaho, tapos nag-shrink yung revenue base. So baliktad ang ano. But you cannot blame these people kasi ang background nila talagang wala naman talagang it's just a family who grew up in politics, so they wouldn't know how to do these things.
Okay, going back to, since we were already talking earlier about political parties, gusto ko lang sana maitanong sa inyo rin, since ako personally, na-associate ko po kayo, Senator, sa Magdalo Group. And they're also making a comeback. Are you guys still in touch with sila former Kong Alejano, etc.?
Yes, in fact, I joined them doon po sa filing last October 2, and I remain the chairman of the Magdalo Group. At ang kwan po natin kasi, it's not a political party, it is a party list. So, kaya I wouldn't have been able to use the Magdalo as my own political party.
Okay, and in terms of the Magdalo, which apparently you're still chairing it, ano po yung mga, can we expect some changes, or is Magdalo still the Magdalo that we know from before?
Ano po yan? So, talagang yung trademark po natin, hindi na po mababago yan. And in fact, when Congressman Alejano was asked about impeaching Sara Duterte in case we get back into the House, straight up, sinabi niya, of course, we will. Kasi talagang unfit to hold public office si Sara Duterte. So, kung wala magta-file yan, we will file it. So, in the same way that panahon ni Duterte, nobody dared to file an impeachment case against Mr. Duterte. It's only the Magdalo. Tapos ganun din, sa ICC, we're the only ones who filed it. So, pagkakailangan, gagawin natin po yan.
Well, for that matter, in the previous interview, you said you have documented 22 articles of impeachment against the current Vice President, Sara Duterte. Is that correct?
It's now 25 because
22.
We were able to get additional offenses committed by VP Sara Duterte. So it has increased to 25 articles of impeachment.
What's the most what's the word that I'm looking for? Strongest ground that you have?
Well, in terms of gravity, it's still the confidential funds, the 650 million confidential funds in 2023, the 125 in 2022, the 2.7 billion confidential funds when she was mayor of Davao City. In terms of gravity, that would be it. But in terms of gravity, in terms of political impact, I think the worst would be the ones where she encashed 2 managers' checks from a known drug lord associate of Michael Young when she was still mayor. So we have the documentary evidence for that, and I don't think she'd be able to survive that politically.
So confidential funds will be under graft, is what you're saying? Graft or malversation?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes, graft and corruption.
Graft and corruption.
Well, kasi today, Senator, obviously, nakuha ninyo, I'm sure you've heard the news, no? Na-acquit nga lahat ng mga dawit, halos, no? Sa pork barrel scam related to Janet Napoles and the ghost NGOs from before. How do you feel, no, that, 10 years down the line, baka maibasura lang din naman pala yung mga kaso. Although I know we're talking about impeachment here, which will be up to the legislature to decide. But, the cycle kasi is, a lot of these cases, we spend so many hours on inquiries, and then in the end, wala, binasura rin.
Ganito po kasi, no? Na-weaken drastically yung mga cases na yan nung panahon ni Duterte. Remember, he was president for 6 years. Kaalyado niya yan, sina Enrile. That's it, di ba? So, yan na ngayon. Ina-arbor itong mga kaalyado na yan. Kaya ganyan yung sitwasyon. But we have to keep on hoping that at some point, our justice system would work. Kasi we cannot go on with a very cynical mindset because I still believe if you would be able to put in good justices, judges, and here in DOJ, you can appoint good prosecutors. Ano yan mag-work yan. Ako, I've been a recipient of bad decisions by bad judges or corrupt prosecutors, but I have been also a recipient of decisions, of good decisions by decent and fair judges and prosecutors. So, ultimately, yung tao eh. So, yun ang hope natin. But, ano yan, kailangan maayos yung presidente. No? Kasi si Duterte talaga, sinasabi ko nga from day one, sindikato yung mindset, talaga naglalagay siya ng mga iwali para mapakinabangan nila o maproteksyonan sila.
Okay, Senator, speaking of the former president, ano pong update sa timeline nung ICC investigation into the war on drugs? Yun dun sa 5 arrest warrants na sinasabing ihahain. And also, is the ICC listening in on the Quadcom hearings? Because nababanggit nga yung pangalan ni Ms. Rowena Garma, former PCSO General Manager, is she also being mentioned in the case of the ICC because she is also a former police colonel? So, posible ba, tinitingnan din yung mga angulo na yan? Posible rin siyang mahainan ng arrest warrant?
Okay, ganito po. If you notice that after June and early July, nung lumabas yung Blue Notice, I stopped talking about the ICC altogether. Because based doon sa aming mga informante, those who are privy to this investigation, ang sinasabi nila, ni-raise ng Office of the Prosecutor yung quantum of evidence from probable cause. So kung probable cause lang, ready na sila to file ng second quarter pa lang, as early as second quarter. But then they decided to raise the of evidence to of conviction because they are concerned that if they file that application for warrant, and probable cause lang yung hawak nilang evidence, baka hindi na sila magkaroon ng opportunity to get more evidence to convict Mr. Duterte. What if pag-issue ng warrant na turnover sa kanila, probable cause lang yung hawak nila, mabibitin sila. So that's the wisdom or the rationale for that move. So nung ni-raise nila sa certainty of conviction yung quantum of evidence for the application for warrant, naghahabol sila ng na maabot yung threshold na yun. So ngayon, but to address part of the question, are they listening in sa Quadcom hearings? Yes. Namomonitor nila yan at natutuwa sila. Marami sila nakukuha na informasyon. And I believe because of the Quadcom hearing, mas maaabot na nila yung threshold na yon. Ito, estimate lang po ito mga late November to early December yung warrant.
Okay.
So, yan po.
Late November to early December. We're going to have to leave that there for tonight because we've run out of time, but we'll have you on again another time. That was former Senator Sonny Trillanes, now running for mayor of Caloocan City. Thanks so much for your time.